Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Imagine holding a simple $quarter in your hand, a coin you may have received in change at a store or found lying forgotten in a drawer. But what if that ordinary-looking coin was actually hiding a rare secret, a small detail that could turn it from 25 cents into a sought-after treasure in the United States coin market? Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the Washington 1974 $quarter coin, a coin many people overlook, a coin that collectors silently hunt, and a coin that becomes valuable when certain rare features and errors appear on it. Settle in, listen carefully, because each tiny detail can be worth real money, and this information can help you identify one of the most surprising rarities sitting unnoticed in your home. The 1974 Washington quarter comes from a time when billions of coins were struck for everyday circulation. Because of that, most people think coins from this era are too common to be special. But collectors know the truth is different. What makes a coin valuable is not always its age, but its condition, its rarity, and most importantly, its mistakes. The 1974 quarter is famous among coin lovers because some pieces were struck with unusual die conditions, strange minting faults, and accidental variations that today stand out like shining stars in the world of modern American coinage. To understand the beauty of this coin, imagine the sharp portrait of George Washington at the front, the eagle with outstretched wings on the back, and the edge lines meant to be perfectly shaped. But when the minting process goes slightly wrong, details distort, letters expand or shrink, metal spreads unevenly, and suddenly the coin transforms into a collectible rarity. Coin hunters constantly search for high-grade 1974 quarters because the more perfect the strike, the more premium the value. Even tiny changes in luster, surface, or strike clarity matter. Some coins show full, bold eagle feathers, strong hair details on Washington, and a mirror-like shine, making them desirable even without errors. However, errors are the real spotlight. One of the most exciting errors for 1974 quarters is the off-center strike, where part of the design shifts away from the center and leaves blank space on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center, the more collectors want it. Another rare mistake is the double die, where letters, numbers, or parts of the design appear doubled when the die shifted during the minting process. When doubling appears on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date 1974, collectors immediately recognize its rarity. Then there are clipped planchet errors, where the coin appears to have a bite taken out of its edge due to misfeeding of the metal sheet. Even more unusual are coins struck on the wrong planchet, where a quarter design ends up printed on metal meant for a dime or a foreign coin, creating one of the most valuable and thrilling errors in all of modern coin collecting. Collectors love these coins because they connect history, craftsmanship, and chance. Every rare error tells a story of precision interrupted by a moment of imperfection. Every high-grade 1974 quarter reminds us that even common coins can survive decades in sharp, untouched condition. This combination of condition and error makes the search exciting. People spend hours examining these coins under magnifiers, flipping each coin under bright light, hoping to catch that one unique detail no one else noticed. This is the magic of coin collecting, the treasure hunt that starts with a single quarter. As your video continues, encourage your viewers to look closely at their coins, inspect the date carefully, study the mint details, and explore whether their circulating coins may secretly be worth more than they imagine. Many people throw away rare pieces simply because they assume a modern coin can't be expensive. But the truth is different. Coins with dramatic mint errors or extremely fine condition can surprise even experienced collectors with their unexpected market value. So always check your Washington 1974 quarters, because the next valuable discovery could be in your pocket right now. And now, for the real market value and auction highlight. A high-grade, sharply struck 1974 Washington quarter can sell for hundreds of dollars. Rare error pieces with strong doubling or major off-center strikes have been sold for thousands of dollars. The highest auction results for certain dramatic errors have reached as high as more than $4,000. Coin number 2. You and I are going deep into this coin, exploring the mysteries, secrets, and surprising minting mistakes that make the 1979 quarter so exciting for collectors all around the world. If you love coins, listen carefully, because each tiny detail in this coin may unlock something special. The year 1979 was a busy one for the United States Mint. Billions of quarters were produced, and because of that, at first glance these coins seem common. But like every great treasure story, the real value doesn't lie in what everyone sees, but in what only the careful collector notices. The Washington portrait on the front, the bold eagle with spread wings on the back, the crisp lettering, and the edge reading all look normal at a quick glance. But hidden inside this massive production run are rare, unusual, and extremely desirable varieties and mint errors. These are the coins that collectors chase with passion, the coins that make someone stop in awe when an unexpected detail shines under bright light. One of the most attractive features collectors search for in 1979 quarters is the strength of the strike. Most quarters from the 70s show soft details or worn surfaces, but some rare examples were struck with exceptional clarity. Imagine flipping a 1979 quarter under a lamp and seeing Washington's hair strands perfectly sharp, the cheekbone defined, the letters raised like miniature sculptures, and the eagle feathers on the reverse so crisp they look like they were carved yesterday. These high-grade survivors are rare, because decades of circulation usually destroy this detail. Finding a 1979 quarter with an untouched, brilliant, almost mirror-like surface is like discovering a small time capsule. And now, let's talk about the real thrill, the errors. These are the accidents that happened inside the mint, moments of imperfection that today make certain 1979 quarters extremely valuable. One of the most dramatic errors is the off-center strike, or the design shifts away from the center, leaving a blank crescent of metal on the coin. The further the strike moves, the more desirable the piece becomes. A perfect off-center error with clear date showing can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Another exciting possibility is doubling. A doubled die occurs when the die that strikes the coin shifts slightly before completing the impression. This creates doubled letters, doubled numbers, or doubled design elements. If you ever inspect a 1979 quarter and notice the date looking thicker, the word Liberty appearing shadowed, or the motto "In God We Trust" showing layered outlines, you may be holding a doubled die, and that is one of the most loved varieties in coin collecting. Then we have clipped planchet errors. These look like a curved bite missing from the edge of the coin, caused when blank metal sheets overlap during cutting. These are instantly recognizable and highly collectible, especially when the clip is large and the rest of the design remains bold. Even more thrilling are wrong planchet errors. In rare cases, a 1979 quarter was mistakenly struck on metal meant for a dime or even for a foreign coin. This creates a lighter, thinner, completely unusual piece that shocks collectors when discovered. These wrong metal errors are some of the highest value finds for this year. Collectors also look for coins struck through grease, where parts of the design appear missing or faded because mint machinery was not clean. Letters disappear, details fade, and the coin takes on a mysterious ghost-like appearance that fascinates experienced collectors. Every one of these unusual errors brings a piece of history to life. Each rare example reminds us that even in a system designed for perfection, small mistakes survive, and those mistakes become treasures that collectors spend years searching for. That is why the 1979 quarter, despite being common in circulation, has a special place among modern U.S. coins. The thrill comes from knowing that inside millions of ordinary pieces, a few extraordinary survivors remain, waiting to be discovered by someone patient enough to look closely. If you enjoy coin hunting, always remember to inspect your coins under strong light or a magnifier. Look for doubling, check the edges, examine the surface, and never underestimate a coin simply because it looks modern. Many people around the world have found rare 1979 quarters in pocket change and turned what looked like an ordinary coin into real money. The treasure hunt begins every time you hold a coin and ask yourself, what if this one is special? And now, for the real market value and auction highlight. High-grade 1979 Washington quarters with exceptional detail have sold for more than $1,000. Rare dramatic errors such as major off-center strikes, strong doubled dies, or wrong planchet strikes have reached auction prices of over $3,000. Coin number 3. We take a deep journey into this coin, a coin from the final years before the legendary state quarters began, a coin that many overlook but collectors pay serious attention to because the Denver Mint made some unexpected surprises in 1998. If you're a coin lover, listen closely, because the details you're about to hear could turn a simple 25 cents into a real treasure. The 1998 D quarter sits at a unique place in U.S. minting history. It marks the end of the traditional eagle-back design before the dramatic change in 1999. Because of this, many collectors look at the late 1990s quarters as key pieces to complete full sets. But the real excitement begins when we talk about the rare variations and unusual mint errors that slipped into circulation that year. With the Denver Mint striking hundreds of millions of coins, a few unexpected and dramatic mistakes occurred, mistakes that collectors chase like hidden jewels. One of the most desirable things collectors look for in a 1998 D quarter is superb strike quality. Many Denver minted coins from the late 90s show weakness in Washington's hair, loss of detail around the cheek, and softness in the eagle's feathers. But once in a while, an exceptional example appears, a sharply struck, shiny, beautifully preserved quarter that survived its journey through circulation untouched. These pieces, still glowing with luster, are rare today. A 1998 D quarter in blazing high grade can be worth far more than face value, because collectors know how hard it is to find a perfect survivor from this era, but the real excitement comes from error coins. This is where the 1998 D Washington quarter becomes truly thrilling. One of the most attention-grabbing errors is the off-center strike. Imagine a 1998 D quarter with the design shifted boldly to one side, leaving a blank crescent on the surface. These dramatic visual errors are instantly recognized and heavily collected. The more off-center the strike, the more fascinating and valuable the coin becomes. Another rare error to look for is the famous double strike. This happens when the coin remains in the press and gets struck twice, creating overlapping images on the design. A double-struck 1998 D quarter looks almost surreal, with letters shadowed, numbers doubled, or the eagle appearing twice in odd positions. These coins are incredibly eye-catching and extremely collectible. Collectors also carefully check for double die errors, where parts of the design show doubling due to misalignment during die creation. On a 1998 D quarter, doubling may appear on the date, the word Liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." These coins become special varieties that collectors love adding to their collections. Another valuable variety is the struck-through error. Sometimes grease, cloth fibers, or tiny debris block parts of the die, causing areas of the design to appear faint, missing, or distorted. A 1998 D struck-through error can show missing letters, faded borders, or a ghost-like pattern that makes the coin look mysterious and unusual. And then come the wrong planchet errors, some of the rarest mistakes in all U.S. coinage. A handful of 1998 quarters are known to have been struck on different metal blanks, such as dime planchets. When this happens, the coin becomes thinner, smaller, lighter, and instantly recognizable. These are extremely valuable and highly prized by collectors. The magic of coin collecting comes from the thrill of discovering something rare where no one expects it. That is why people around the world examine their coins carefully, flipping each quarter under bright light, checking edges, studying details, and hoping for that one rare piece. The 1998 D quarter may look modern, but it carries surprises that even experienced collectors appreciate. Every rare mistake, every high-grade survivor, and every unexpected flaw tells a story of the minting process, of machines, metal, pressure, and chance coming together to create something unique. So the next time you find a 1998 D Washington quarter in your house, your pocket, or a jar of old coins, take a closer look. You never know when one small detail can turn a regular coin into something worth holding, collecting, and showcasing. Now for the real market price and auction highlight. High-grade 1998 D quarters in exceptional condition have sold for more than $300. Rare errors such as major off-center strikes, double dies, and wrong planchet mistakes have reached auction values of over $1,500. Coin number 4. We are diving deep into the secrets of this 1994 P quarter, exploring why some pieces from this year have become highly desirable, unexpected, and in some cases, extremely valuable. If you love coins, listen very carefully, Because this year holds more mysteries than most people ever realize. The year 1994 may seem modern, but in the world of US coinage, it sits in an interesting moment. It was a time before the famous state quarters began, a time when the classic eagle reverse design was still ruling circulation. Because so many were minted, most people believe the 1994 P quarter can't be special. But collectors know that even common years can produce rare survivors that escaped wear, along with unusual minting errors that give the coin its hidden value. One of the biggest reasons the 1994 P quarter catches collectors' attention is the wide variation in strike quality. Many coins from this year left the mint with weak detail, flat hair on Washington's portrait, and soft features on the eagle. But some rare pieces, struck under ideal pressure or on cleaner dies, show bold, crisp detail that looks almost artistic. The sharper the features, the more collectible the coin becomes. A 1994 P quarter with strong luster and a near-perfect strike can stand out in a collection, especially if it has been preserved in exceptional condition. As decades pass, finding one of these high-grade specimens becomes more difficult and therefore more valuable, but the part that truly excites coin lovers is the variety of errors that appeared during the minting process. Some of the rarest and most dramatic American coin errors can be found on coins from the mid-1990s, including the 1994 P quarter. One of the most eye-catching errors is the off-center strike. Imagine seeing a quarter where part of the design is pushed to the side, leaving a blank crescent of untouched metal. The more dramatic the shift, and the more clearly the date remains visible, the more desirable the coin becomes. Collectors love the raw visual power of off-center errors because every piece is completely unique. Another valuable rarity is the doubled die variety. This happens when the die shifts slightly during creation, causing letters or numbers to appear doubled. A 1994 P doubled die can show shadows under the date, thicker letters and Liberty, or doubled lines inside the motto. These doubling effects are not common, and finding one in circulation can feel like discovering hidden treasure. There are also clipped planchet errors, where the coin appears to have a curved slice missing from one edge. These happen when the metal sheet overlaps during cutting and the blank disc is clipped incorrectly. These errors are instantly noticeable and make the coin extremely collectible. Struck through grease errors are another possibility in 1994. These coins appear missing letters or details because the machinery was clogged with grease or debris. It results in a mysterious fading of parts of the design, something collectors love for its unusual, ghost-like appearance. Even more interesting are the rare wrong planchet errors. This is when a coin intended to be a quarter is accidentally struck on the metal blank meant for another denomination. A 1994 quarter struck on a dime planchet will be lighter, thinner, and missing parts of the design near the rim. These errors are extremely rare and instantly raise a coin's value dramatically. Collectors appreciate these 1994 P quarters because they represent a mix of modern minting precision and unexpected imperfection. Each error tells a small story about the machinery, the workers, and the moment the coin was created. When people examine these coins under a magnifying glass, rotating them under a bright light, they feel the thrill of discovery. That is the true joy of coin collecting, the chance that something rare and overlooked might be sitting in an old jar or a forgotten drawer. So keep an eye on any quarter with the 1994 P mint mark. Whether it is a high-grade survivor or a dramatic error, it might be worth far more than you expect. Now for the real market price and auction highlight. High-grade 1994 P quarters with exceptional detail have sold for more than $200. Rare error pieces, such as major off-center strikes, doubled dies, and wrong planchet errors, have reached auction values of more than $1,000. Coin number 5. Imagine picking up an old handful of coins, letting them fall through your fingers, and suddenly stopping when one quarter catches your attention. It looks simple, it looks worn, it looks ordinary, but the year on it says 1982, and the mint mark beside it says D. What most people never realize is that this 1982 D quarter dollar holds one of the most interesting stories in modern American coinage. It comes from a year filled with changes, shortcuts, errors, and unexpected varieties that created some of the most desirable quarters for collectors today. If you are a coin lover, listen carefully, because the 1982 D quarter may appear common, but the reality is far more exciting. The year 1982 is important because the United States Mint made a major change. They stopped producing mint sets for collectors, which means high-grade examples of 1982 coins are much harder to find. Unlike other years, people didn't store fresh, shiny quarters from mint sets in albums. Most 1982 D quarters entered circulation immediately, where they were used, worn, scratched, and tossed around for years. Because of this, finding a 1982 D quarter in perfect condition is extremely difficult, and collectors will pay good money for those rare survivors that still shine brightly decades later. What makes the coin even more interesting is the huge variation in strike quality from the Denver Mint that year. Many 1982 D quarters show flat details on Washington's hair, weak lines on the eagle's feathers, and dull surfaces. But every once in a while, someone uncovers a piece with a sharp strike, full luster, and bold details. These are the coins collectors compete for. A strong, clean, glowing 1982 D quarter is like discovering something that shouldn't exist anymore, because very few were preserved, but the real excitement behind this coin comes from the mint errors. The early 80s saw incredibly heavy production and extremely fast machinery, and with that came mistakes that today make certain 1982 D quarters extremely valuable. One of the most dramatic flaws collectors look for is the off-center strike. This error happens when the coin shifts out of position during the strike, leaving part of the quarter blank and the design pushed to one side. The more off-center the coin is, and the more clearly the date remains visible, the more valuable it becomes. These pieces grab your attention instantly because they look like the mint took a step back in time and let the machinery run wild. Another thrilling error from 1982 is the double strike. A coin stuck in the press receives two impressions, resulting in overlapping images that make the letters, numbers, or the portrait itself appear doubled in a dramatic, almost surreal pattern. These are rare, eye-catching, and heavily collected. Collectors also search for doubled die varieties, where the doubling occurs on the die before the coin is struck. When this happens, the doubling is crisp and clean. On a 1982 D quarter, this may show as doubled lettering in Liberty, repeated outlines in the date, or extra thickness inside the words "In God We Trust." Even minor doubling increases a coin's desirability, because die varieties from this era are harder to find. Then come the clipped planchet errors, where a curved bite-shaped chunk is missing from the edge due to misaligned cutting blades. These errors stand out immediately and are always in demand. Struck through grease errors also appear frequently on 1982 quarters, because the mint equipment was under extreme pressure that year. These coins show missing letters, faded rims, or soft patches where grease blocked the die from transferring the design fully. These mysterious, ghost-like strikes make each coin unique, and of course, one of the rarest errors of all, a 1982 D quarter struck on the wrong planchet. A quarter accidentally struck on a dime blank or foreign metal is incredibly rare and instantly valuable. These pieces are lighter, thinner, and missing outer design details, making them extremely desirable to error collectors. Every one of these mistakes tells a story of pressure, speed, and unexpected moments inside the mint. That is what makes the 1982 D quarter so interesting. It is not just a coin, it is a mixture of history, scarcity, imperfection, and accidental beauty that collectors can't resist. People still search their change, check coin rolls, and inspect jars of old coins hoping to find that one rare example hiding among the ordinary. So if you ever spot a 1982 D quarter, don't ignore it. Look closely at the edges, examine the lettering, study the date, and check for anything unusual. Because this coin, though simple at first glance, carries more surprises than nearly any other modern quarter. Now for the real market price and auction highlight. High-grade 1982 D quarters with exceptional shine and detail have sold for more than $200. Rare error pieces, such as major off-center strikes, doubled dies, and wrong planchet errors, have reached auction values of more than $2,000.